Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the short story Luncheon. Here the title The Luncheon, which means the formal lunch. In this story, the Mogham talks about his personal experience. Now let's talk about the title. As we know, the formal lunch. In the story, Mogham had a lunch with a lady who was the admirer of his work. This story is about a lady of 40 years who is the admirer of his writings, and she expresses her wish to meet him. So here the luncheon the basically talks about the formal lunch they had, and the story the 20 years before. This is the flashback story. Now we'll see the introduction of the author. The Luncheon, which is written by William Sombrist Maugham. He was born in Paris. He was born 1874, and his childhood was spent in French-speaking society. After the death of his father, he returned to England at the age of 10. Some of his best novels include Of the Human Bondage, The Moon and the Sixpence, and The Cake and Alley. The Mogham has an amazing skill for revealing with a few touches a situation and essential of a character, and his stories are told with lucidity and economy of a word, which are the marks of a supreme craftsman. He has written the novels, the plays, and the short story. Also, we have a one short story, The Luncheon. Now we'll discuss the short story Luncheon theme. The theme of the story. The theme of the story Luncheon by the Sombrist Maugham is the appearances versus reality. The beautiful represented in the short story, the appearances versus reality. It's a beautiful comparison over here. The speaker in Luncheon wishes from the beginning that his date would be a beautiful woman. He imagines a portrayal of a graceful lady in his mind. He has created this kind of an impression in his mind. But when he goes to have a lunch with her, she appears as a surprising blast, a total opposite to his imagination. Not only her appearances, but also her dialogue express that she is an extremely fat, food-loving, ravenous woman who does even think a bit about the cost speaker would have to pay for the lunch. She was the chatterbox. She has a very good appetite and the gobble a lot of money also. The most interesting part is the irony hidden in the lines. She utters to the speaker like she does not eat too much, etc. Every time she said, I never eat so much, I never eat too much. The irony concealed in her speeches helped to develop the main theme. These ironies made Luncheon a comic story in a true sense. This is the theme of the story. Now we will discuss the summary. This story which we already have discussed, and the students, you have the PDF and the text with you, so you can see the whole things, what kind of a way he has presented with the incidents to 20 years before. This is the flashback story. Here a most delightful humor narrative. The Luncheon is a slice of a life story about the Mogham's luncheon date proposed to him by a woman whom he hopes is a supporter of his art. So later on, he has to be recognized the thing. Very soon, the writer and the woman meet again after they last saw each other 20 years before. And then he starts to recall the luncheon at that day. Having only communicated with her through the mail, the author is rather surprised to meet a woman of 40 who gave him, this is exactly the description of that lady, the impression of having more teeth, white and large even, than were necessary for any practical purpose. Here the description about that lady. Since the author has only 80 francs to last him the rest of the month. Here, the little bit, the things we have to be sure, the lady has selected the horrible expensive restaurant that was the foyer. only the richest people, they have to come and just to take their dinner and also as well as the lunch. But the lady has selected, and the some people, they never say to no. So the Mogham was the one of them. So, since the author has only 80 phrases, now he is just sharing, and also here in these lines we can see the pathetic situation, the panic seized. Since the author has only 80 francs to last him the rest of the month, he is anxious about eating at the restaurant where the French senators dine that she suggests. All the time she is consuming such rich foods and drink. She scolds Mogham for eating red meat as he has ordered mutton. And the Mogham, why he has ordered mutton? Because he knew the situation. He knows exactly the way. He has a sufficient amount to pay, and the fear of the bill has to come. So he has selected the cheapest dish on a menu card, and that was mutton. But the lady commented, "You see, you have filled your stomach with a lot of meat. My one miserable little chop, and you can't eat any more. But I have just had a snack. I shall enjoy peach." She said, "What I had ordered, that was just a snack. So I would like to take the other one, and that was the peach." So now we will discuss the end of the author explained that he is not a vindictive man, but when the immortal gods take a hand in the matter, it is pardonable to observe the result complacency. He remarked now this woman who only liked lunches and only one thing at a time, weighed 21 stone, nearly 295 pounds, which means 134 kg now. Sometimes the people, they are helpless. They are helpless. They cannot do anything. But for that time, the only the one, the Almighty of God, will be there just to sort out the all problems. And He has just shown their justice. At the end of the story, we can see, now we will see the analysis of the short story. Students, you have to see the analysis. This is the critical analysis of the short story Luncheon. You can see in this slide. This is the next. Now you can just see the difficult words. What the words you have faced throughout the chapter, the short story Luncheon. These all are the words with the meaning. So you can just see the difficult words over here. And the last thing, some important questions. The important questions which we have mentioned over there, we also have sent you the PDF. You can just see your answers with the help of the PDF. Just see your answers. Thank you very much, guys. I hope this story will make you something and you have to learn something. Thank you very much.